My mom started me at an oral school when I was like 1 or 2 years old. I had a hearing aid and I was 1 or 2 or so, somewhere around there. And I just learned nothing from that school. I just kind of sat there and learned absolutely nothing. My mom and dad's communication, we used home signs, but I didn't know any sign language. We would make up different signs such as eat and sleep. And these were some of the signs that we used. We used different signs from regular sign language. It was really kind of funny. When I was around 4 years old, we went to a church and they had signing. It was a hearing church, but they had people that were signed there. And I learned my first sign. I learned a sign for shoes, the actual correct sign. And from then on, my mom and dad would teach me sign language. It wasn't great, but it was something. But I still went to the oral school. And when I was 5, I I still didn't learn anything. I didn't even know my name. I knew absolutely nothing. So I told my mom and dad that it was better if I went to the school for the deaf. So they said, okay, we'll go and take a visit at the school. And so we went on a tour. And I was just so amazed that we went to the different classrooms and we saw that they had wood flooring. And the really amazing thing was when we went into the dance room, they had wood floors, like wood paneling, so you could feel the music and the rhythm. And I told my parents, I was like, I want to do that. I just fell in love with it. And so I got really excited. And my mom and dad said, okay, you'll go to the school. And I said, can I go tomorrow? Can I go tomorrow? And they said, no, yeah, we'll wait 30 days. So I kept on nagging them, as the days went on. And I packed all my clothes and I was just so excited. And I got to the school and I went into the dorm and there's 4 different beds and they had all their different clothes and then from then on I learned sign language there. And when I went home, my parents still used home signs because that's what they were used to. And the communication slowly started improving and changing over time. And then finally, I took ASL classes. And I started learning the culture, and I just felt so much better. I felt like it was worth it. When I went to the deaf school, um, I was required to take one oral class every single year. It was just mandatory. And the staff signed, but my dorm mom seemed to have a problem with the way I communicated with her. She hated the way we communicated with each other, and it was fine. But at school, but with my dorm mom, she had a problem with it. So I had problems with the dorms there. This was in middle school, by the way. And one woman, she was the supervisor, and she didn't know any sign language. So there's just like a lot of misconceptions that happened from that. And it really kind of made me just really upset. And I got fed up with it, and I ended up going to a different school. And they tried to force fingerspelling one time, the Rochester method. And I just get tired and I just go back to signing. And there's all these changes and education for us, and yeah. So the reason why I left that school, I had problems with the dorms, and I felt I felt like, you know, they had all the cool new gadgets, and I could put on makeup and all that stuff. And then the girl started picking on me, and I just got really like agitated, and I just kind of got sick of it. So I went to the other school, and my health got better. So at the time, looking back, that was in the 70s, during the hippie days. So I transferred to the new school, and it was a brand new school. It had just gotten built. It was built in 69, and they only had 11 students. So they had a different style of education. So they had what they called at your own pace. So you took classes at your own pace. So if you were really smart, you could take it fast and you would graduate quicker, or, versus if you were slow and you couldn't learn as fast. So they didn't have classrooms where they taught you. It wasn't traditional. So I was really kind of amazed by the new school, but they had no rules. None. So it was just like a party. But the staff was kind of uppity, and we made our own rules. So we had a meeting and a vote, and we said no smoking in the lobby room. Well, we had some complaints about that, and so we established some new rules. So it ended up passing no smoking in the lobby or in the cafeteria. And I graduated in 73, and they broke ground on a new campus building. And it got approved, and they had federal funding for the building. And, I left, and then I went back to visit the school, and my old building was gone away. But they still have the same education philosophy. There seems to be no changes. So when I first started going to that school, I really just fell in love with drama. And I got in love with the arts, and there's just no rules. They weren't very strict, and I tried to apply to Gallaudet, but I didn't have the work ethic. I think if I would have studied harder, I would have passed and gone to Gallaudet for sure. But anyways, so I graduated, and at that time, when I was a student there, I really just loved drawing, and I was really fast at typing, kind of like a business type attitude. And I started discussing with my guidance counselor about my college majors, and she said, well, it'd be probably better to major in art or business. And I was like, well, business is boring, and I really just love the creative side of drawing. So, I grew up with the art skills, and I have a natural talent. And my mom, she was just, she noticed that my drawing talent was just above average. So in first, second grade, she saw my drawing that I drew, and she was just like, wow, it was a tree, and it was in the fall time, and my mom just really thought that it was above average for that age. And I just love art. So I thought that'd be better for my major. So I discussed it, and there was a name of a school called Delgado Community College in New Orleans. It was really well known for art. and there was this other college, but this one was closer to my aunt and cousins, so I'd have people nearby me. And the other one I didn't really have any connections to. So I went to the school and I had different classes in college, like math and all that stuff. And then got married and I kind of left out because it just got too expensive to pay for. It was a very expensive college. I mean, just for the paintbrush, it was very expensive. Just for one paintbrush. So everything added up, and for the ink and paper and all that, and the cost just wasn't what I was willing to pay. So I focused on my son. At that time, when I went to Delgado Community College, they had an interpreter, but it was kind of weird because I went to a school for the deaf, and then when I went to college, Delgado Community College, I had to take a sign language class. And I was just so mad. I was like, why am I taking this college class on sign language? I already know the languages. So, anyways, I took the classes for interpreting, and I mean, from then on out, it was fine.